Today we will be talking about editing and the way it affects the way we perceive our movies.
Film editing is part of the innovative post-production process of film. Pieces of scenes are put together to create a sequence of footage that helps highlight important details of a movie. Although it is typical for a film to create logical sense, many forms of film editing can be allegorical to make the audience think and question what a scene really is describing. A good example of fundamental editing is a video that I worked on a couple years ago. It's the introduction for a segment that we did on the school news show about the school football team. It's called Milton Game Day Intro. This is a great example of how editing can help create continuity. Notice how at the end of the clips, the person will throw or kick the ball off screen, and then the next clip will have someone catching the ball. This is an example of continuity editing. By linking these together, it implies that the person throwing the ball or kicking the ball off screen is throwing it to the person who's going to catch it. To help you visualize how editing actually takes place, I'll show you how I edit. I used Adobe Premiere Pro CS6 for most of my editing, and that's this program you see right here. I'm going to show you how a cut is made. It's very simple. So you need at least 2 clips, and you will put them into the timeline. And part of the editing process is to cut out what you don't want. So right now I'm trimming down my clip just so I get the part where my skateboarder lands. And I'll do the same for the other one as well. Alright. So now you take both clips, put them together so that they're touching, and I'll zoom in. And when you play back the clip, it cuts straight from one clip to another without any sort of dissolve. That's how a cut's made. Another type of cut is a jump cut. A jump cut is when you have a cut within a clip, so it cuts from one part of the clip to the next without going to another. So I'll show you that right here. So I'm going to trim the clip down again like I did in the first place. And now, instead of cutting to another clip, I'm going to select a portion of the clip to cut out. So after my skateboarder lands his trick, I'm going to cut from here till about here. And you just delete the middle part, drag the 2 halves together, and now when you play it back, you have what's called a jump cut.
We can probably save it with just the one.
Now let's take a look at a clip from District 9.
Notice how the editing furthers our understanding of the scene.
Give me a fucking chance to go in front of you, man. Oh, baby.
Hi, baby.
I need to get to the toilet quickly.
Why?
Why are the lights off? Is the power off again?
What's the matter?
Baby, listen, I might have cracked in my pants. What's this for? Promotion. Oh, right. Yeah, promotion. No, Dad, how's it going?
Good to
Baby,
see you,
how's
man.
it going? Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, what a surprise, man. Congrats on the promotion. Yeah, no, thanks.
Congratulations, boss. It's gonna be good.
Lucas, what happened?
No, just had a small incident, baby, but I'm just gonna go to the toilet and then I'll talk to the people, okay? All right.
I need to talk to you. Come with
Okay,
me.
good. I'm just gonna...
Guys, can you give us a moment, please? What happened out there?
A small incident, Pete. You know, unruly prawn, and I just had to get him in my grasp.
Listen to me. Too many aliens died out there today. UIO is all over my backside. Focus! You're not going to fuck this up for me. If you can't do the job, I'll find someone who can.
Hi there. It's nice to see you again. Now does this mean he's in charge of this new operation? Yes. Oh, that's nice, eh?
Lucas? Baby, are you okay?
Okay, let's cut some cake.
This clip from District 9 is a prime example of showing how editors can imply advances in the storyline without actually having to show them. The first instance where the editors advance the storyline is while he's driving home. Notice that as he gets out of the car, he's only out of the car for a few seconds and the shot automatically cuts to another one of him entering the house. It's implied that he got out of the car and walked over to the house, but because of the editing, they didn't need to show that. This is how editors can condense the movie into a 2-hour time window. They can cut out the unimportant parts that can be left implied to the viewer. While we don't actually see the main character climb out of the car and walk over to the house, we know it happened because the next shot is of him opening the door. Editors don't have to show everything, they can cut out what's in between. The next important piece of editing is when he enters into the house and is surprised by all of the guests. The editors cut to different shots of all the guests' faces to show their jubilation. They also show different perspectives of the same event. The editors also switched between shots of Vickis and his boss while they were having their conversation. If the boss was saying something, they would either show his face while he's speaking, or they would show Vickis' face to show his reaction.
Listen to me. Too many aliens died out there today. UIO is all over my backside.
The next technique that the editors used to enhance this scene was the use of slow motion while Vickis is cutting the cake. The slow motion shows that his mental state is impaired due to his sickness. We know that it's not actually happening in slow motion, but the slow motion is meant to signify his mental state at the time. We also see Vickis fall to the floor in slow motion, not because it actually happened that way, but because it shows his mental state is what caused him to pass out. After he passes out, the editors cut to black. Then, from the black, they cut to the shot of his wife at the hospital. This is another example of how the editing advances the timeline. We know that she didn't just appear in the hospital, she had to drive there, but they didn't need to show that, and so they cut it out using the editing techniques.
Now let's take a look at a clip from Inglourious Basterds.
3 Gläser.
Wovon er was mag?
Auf ein 1000-jähriges deutsches Reich.
Ein 1000-jähriges Reich.
Ich muss sagen, ich habe genug von dem Affentheater. Haben Sie das gehört? Das ist das Geräusch meiner Walter, die direkt auf Ihre Hoden gerichtet ist.
Ja, warum richten Sie Ihre Walter auf meine Hoden?
Weil Sie sich eben verraten haben. Hauptsturmführer. Sie sind so deutsch wie dieser Scotch.
Also Sturmbannführer.
Schnauze, du Schlampe. Sie wollten was sagen.
Ich wollte sagen, dann sind wir zu zweit. Ich habe eine Pistole auf Ihre Eier gerichtet, seit Sie hier sitzen.
Und ab jetzt sind wir zu dritt. Und auf die Entfernung bin ich ein richtiger Frederik Zoller.
Scheint mir ein bisschen heikel zu sein, unsere Lage.
Was jetzt passieren wird, Sturmbannführer. Sie werden aufstehen und mit uns durch diese Tür hinausgehen.
Nein, das glaube ich nicht. Ich glaube, Sie und ich, wir beide wissen, Hauptsturmführer, dass egal, was mit den anderen Leuten hier in diesem Raum passiert, wir zwei nirgendwo hingehen. Das ist wirklich schade um Oberfeldwebel Wilhelm und seine berühmten Freunde. Falls einer von euch vorhat, am Leben zu bleiben, werdet ihr sie auch erschießen müssen. Sieht so aus, als ob Klein Max als Waise aufwächst. Wie traurig.
Well, if this is it, old boy, I hope you don't mind if I go out speaking to kings.
By all means, Captain.
There's a special rung in hell reserved for people who waste good scotch. Seeing as I may be rapping on the door momentarily. I must say, damn good stuff, sir. Now, about this pickle we find ourselves in. It would appear there's only one thing left for you to do.
And what would that be?
Stiglitz.
Say auf Wiedersehen to your Nazi boss.
The scene opens up to the two Nazi officers conversing. This shot uses eyeline matching to show continuity and the flow of dialogue. Using shot reverse shot, this editing brings attention to the dialogue and what's happening. It makes it appear like a game of cat and mouse, building tension for the scene.
Führer. Das ist egal, was mit den anderen Leuten hier in diesem Raum passiert.
Here is a close-up of Michael Fassbender, which acts as a reaction shot to the officer, telling him that both of them aren't going to make it out alive. It shows realization on his face.
Und seine berühmten Freunde. Falls einer von euch vorhat, am Leben zu bleiben, werdet ihr sie auch erschießen.
As you can see in the clip, during the chaos of the gunfight, it switches shots very rapidly. There's over 20 cuts in 15 seconds.
Into your Nazi boss.
Cutting between so many clips helps draw attention to the mayhem and destruction of the scene. The last shot of the scene does not cut away quickly. It signifies the end of the violence.